Distinguished representatives of the media, welcome at today's joint press conference of the President of the Government of the Republic of North Macedonia, Mr. Zaev, and Acting Assistant Secretary for European and Eurasian Affairs, Mr. Philip Rikер. In the very beginning of this joint press conference, they will address you, and afterwards we'll have questions from the media. Just a reminder, the interpretation in Macedonian is on channel 1 and in English in channel 3. Let us start this press conference. I invite the Prime Minister Zaev to address you. Thank you. Distinguished citizens, distinguished media representatives, we have our friend from our strategic partner, the United States of America. I have just met Acting Assistant Secretary for European and Eurasian Affairs, Mr. Rikер, and a great friend of our country and our people. At the meeting, we reaffirmed the shared interest for further intensification of the bilateral, political, and economic cooperation based on the declaration of strategic partnership and cooperation that we have between our two countries. This declaration connects North Macedonia and the USA in the realization of their shared values and commitments for security, freedom, and democratic prosperity of the region. As partners, we share and we jointly create activities in fight against terrorism and other threats on peace and security in the world. Furthermore, we are jointly welcoming the successes of both countries, and we are looking forward to the perspectives that are opening with our countries' soon full-fledged NATO membership. So far, 21 countries have ratified the NATO accession protocol. The United States of America has initiated this process in their Senate, and we expect that by September or October, this process will be completed. The support provided by the USA to our aspirations for EU membership is an exceptional stimulation for our country. We are fully committed to the reform agenda of the European Union, and we have delivered concrete results in 4 areas as requested in the conclusions of the Council in June 2018, of course, in cooperation with the opposition. We are open, and we constantly reiterate this. We want to make the last step together with the opposition in adopting the draft law on public prosecution in order to show the international community, but also at home, that we are united when it comes to our strategic interests. All indications are that in October we will have the long-awaited decision for start of negotiations. No one wants new disappointments and failed promises, neither in the EU, nor at home, nor in the region. No one wants to open a chance for increased influence of other parties in the country and in the region. Everyone expects the recognition for fulfilled democratic reforms, for the best possible solutions on issues with neighbors, and for the determination of our country to be part of the Western democratic world. This is our path. This is the good path. The United States of America are always here to assist, to increase cooperation, and to help us in our will to be part of the democratic, modern, and developed world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. Dobar den na site. I hope you'll forgive me for speaking in English. It is absolutely a delight and an honor for me to be back in North Macedonia. When you say you've always had the support of the United States, you're absolutely correct about that, Prime Minister, and you've always had the support of me. As I reflect back on my own career as a U.S. diplomat, I came here in the difficult period of the 1990s. I came back as the ambassador, then as the Deputy Assistant Secretary focused on the entire region, and now acting as the Assistant Secretary of State for Europe. I'm delighted to come back with the greetings and the tremendous admiration of Secretary of State Pompeo for Prime Minister Zaev and all that you have accomplished. You and your country have accomplished so much. The Prespa Agreement remains a model of courageous leadership, finding solutions to problems, and being able to move on to a very positive and bright future. Your economic growth and the statistics that we're seeing in terms of foreign direct investment, including the interest from American private sector investors, is inspiring. The progress on NATO membership is truly a joy to see, and yesterday I was so pleased to be able to celebrate and toast with the foreign minister the news from Washington that the Foreign Relations Committee of the United States Senate had approved overwhelmingly the ratification of the NATO membership for North Macedonia. Now we wait for the whole Senate to vote in the coming weeks and months, and we look forward to the leadership meeting, which will be held in London, and bringing North Macedonia in as the 30th ally in the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. We already have such a strong partnership. We cooperate in so many areas, including security and defense. The exercise that we just had, Decisive Strike, was a great example of that. I have come on this visit directly from a visit to Greece, where Secretary Pompeo sent me to meet with a large section of the new government that has taken office just in the past couple of weeks. And I have to say it's inspiring to see such a smooth transition from the previous government, with which the United States had done a lot, to a new government where we have so many things. It's an exciting time to be engaged in Greece, in North Macedonia, and in this whole region. The Eastern Mediterranean, the Western Balkans all remain priority areas for us. There's a lot to be accomplished, and we can look back on how much we have done together in the past years. I had an opportunity to remind the Prime Minister that the United States, not a member of the European Union, is a strong supporter of North Macedonia's European perspective. And as I travel almost continuously throughout Europe and meeting with colleagues and counterparts, and Secretary Pompeo as well in his bilateral meetings, we continue to urge EU member states to open accession negotiations with North Macedonia this fall. You've done so much to meet all of the necessary criteria with that. You've underscored the importance of the Special Prosecutor's Office law, and we reiterate that that is important to get that done. We've seen a draft law, which is a very good basis for moving forward on this, and we want to encourage you to finish that process in a timely way. I would hope that the opposition can be like opposition in Greece or other countries and be supportive of processes that are vital for the future of the country. You've got such momentum moving forward. It's time for everybody to get on board and bring this process to a close. At the same time, you have to make sure that investigations are thorough and transparent. The citizens expect that, and I know, Prime Minister, that you are going to carry through with that in the appropriate way, demonstrating to the public that rule of law is paramount in North Macedonia, and that no one is above the law. This is, I think, a very exciting period, and President Trump has underscored the importance of finishing old business, taking care through deals and finding solutions that allow us to all move forward in a positive direction. And so with the example that you've been setting, you will have our continued support, political support, as well as technical assistance. I'm absolutely delighted that I can be here to visit our new ambassador, Ambassador Kate Burns, who is a dear friend, an extraordinary colleague, and an absolutely excellent diplomat, absolutely prepared for this important role. And Kate knows that she will have my full support and the support of Secretary Pompeo as we move forward, helping North Macedonia to fully align with all of the Western democratic values that we share. This is an important era when we, all of us in the West, have to work together to make sure we have prosperous, stable, and secure countries, regions, and an alliance that is the backbone of that. So again, thank you very much for seeing me today. It's always a pleasure for me to come back to Skopje. I was delighted to also be in Bitola and Kavadarci yesterday. I'll go to Tetovo later today. You know that part of my heart and that of my wife Solveig always remains here in North Macedonia. So Zoran, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ambassador Rikер, and to you, Prime Minister Zaev. Now we will have time for 2 questions in total, one for the ambassador and one for the Prime Minister. So who will have the first question? Tamara? Tamara Grancharovska, Tilma TV. This is a question from several colleagues. Ambassador Rikер, you mentioned the importance of the special public prosecution and you said that the draft version of the law is good. Today you will talk with the opposition. What is the message that you will give them? They're strongly saying that the law is not acceptable to them. What will you tell them?
Having the opportunity to meet with the opposition as well. As in any true democracy, the role of opposition is crucial, but that opposition has to be constructive. And the time for political games and grandstanding and playing with citizens' perspectives and ideas is over. And my message will be simple. It's time to get on board and move things forward for the good of the country. North Macedonia is moving ahead to fulfill the goals of this country that have been decades long in terms of Euro-Atlantic integration, both as NATO ally and beginning the process of EU membership. This is a crucial law that's important not only for that process, but is important to the citizens. I hear from friends across North Macedonia regularly in exchanges, and I read the news and the social media here, that this is something the citizens want to see resolved, and the time for this being held up by the opposition really should come to an end, and I hope we'll have a constructive approach from the opposition. The United States wants to be able to work with all political parties in North Macedonia, but in order for us to be able to do that, as President Trump and Secretary Pompeo have made very clear, we have to see serious constructive efforts. And so the special prosecutor law needs to move forward. Getting ahead of it now ensures that it will not be an issue when the EU decides on opening accession negotiations this fall. We've had clear talks and conversations, as I indicated, with our European partners and allies about the strong U.S. support for that. And that's why it's important for the opposition to get on board and get this moved so that you can move ahead and see an ever brighter future with not only increased security and stability, but prosperity that will benefit all the citizens in North Macedonia.
Thank you. We have another question from Iskra. Thank you, Iskra Korovišovska, Alpha TV. My question is for the Prime Minister. Mr. Zaev, in response to questions in the Parliament, yesterday you said that if this law is not adopted within the deadline, then this will happen in an unwanted way. This sounded as threat. This means that as the Republic of North Macedonia has shown consensus in the past few months, we'll have a legal solution that will not disrupt the red lines, rule of law, will guarantee the work of the special public prosecution, but also we'll have a law that will guarantee the rule of law, the secure and stable state. Unwanted way is in fact that the country is in a function to find other ways, to find other solutions when the regular one do not work. No one wants these methods, because if until 15th September we do not adopt this law, then the mandate of the head of the special public prosecution ends, but the mandate of the public prosecution will still be valid, and the country will be in not so beneficial position, because it will need to find ways for the special prosecution to work. And these circumstances will involve leadership meetings, will involve experts, will involve finding solutions, but I know that the country must find the way, because it needs to continue working as a state. Therefore, our goal is to be accountable politicians, so that we can all sit together as we have done so far. We made a great step by accepting suggestions from the opposition. These are inserted in the draft law. And that is why I consider we can work together. Thank you for being at today's joint press conference of Prime Minister Zoran Zaev and Mr. Rikер. Have a good day.